going to have to flip the switch here if they don't want to go down 0-1 early.
I really, really do like this Genji from Gods, though, and he's been all over the place on the Cloud9 roster. I mean, we've seen him on main tank, we've seen him playing some flex play, and now we're back over to the DPS that he originated on, even going back to even like Luminosity and everything too. Definitely nice to see him back, kind of catering to his roots a little bit as well, and seems as though we are more than likely to see Surefour going probably to something like a soldier, I would imagine. I mean, we saw him do some McCree yesterday, though, even on Dorado, and it really, really worked for them to kind of counter out that Pharah Mercy combo, and I did like that. I don't think we're going to be seeing him pull that one out, but we'll have to wait and see if maybe they have other plans ready to take action, and we'll have to see. I mean, on the defensive side, pretty standard composition. Dogman actually going over to the Ana this time around, though. Other than that, pretty much the same of what you expect. And I mean, honestly, on their offensive side, it's typically Zenyatta, and defensively, they often use that Ana. So again, this is just nothing out of the ordinary. But we have to remember, this is, if I'm not mistaken, their pick of map. I mean, this is the map that they picked all of yesterday. So you really want to see them do well on this one if Kungarna has really kind of the best chances possible. Again, single LM, you really need every map you can get. Surefour, though, on that Widow.
Second maps are Hollywood, third one would be Nepal. So we do have those 3 maps set, of course, here, as Kungarna going to play back a little bit, see if they can get a little poke with Bishu or absorb some of that damage as Gods tries to fire those shurikens into the back, see if he can get a few hits there onto Baby Bay and Dogman. But Bishu sitting up with Pooks, trying to make sure they don't get that high ground advantage, making sure Gods isn't allowed to just easily skip into the back. But no, it's going to be it's going to be Kaiser jumping into the back here. He's dangerously low. Does he get to safety? It looks like for the time being they don't have the follow-up damage. Too busy trying to deal with Surefour being a pest.
Pooks does help find that kill, though, onto Gods. And now it's going to be Kungarna. It looks like they're going to be able to win this one. I mean, Pooks is just fragging out completely at the moment, and they do indeed back off as Kaiser just jumps away. They're going to have to regroup a minute taken off of the clock. Still, obviously, a lot of fights left to go before this is all said and done. But Surefour right now on the Tracer, trying to get a little bit of a flanking route going for himself. Needs to get that pulse bomb up. I mean, he's typically pretty strong and getting those picks sorted for his team there, Cloud9, but now needs to kind of contest this high ground, I think, and really the shooting lane really doesn't kind of help him very much. Baby Bay should be able to sight him out, and they should be able to kind of deal with him as Baby Bay does slide back. They get aggressive, they jump on top.
Well, they forced Bishu off of that high ground, which allowed for them to get an easy dive into the back. There's Baby Bay, though, receiving that nano boost. Doesn't have tactical visor, though. He will get a big boost in his damage, clearly, as Kaiser goes down. One of those guys who can try to get into the back to deal with Baby Bay and Dogman. And I think next time around, as this clearly seems to be going in favor of Kungarna, I think they might need to go around the server room potentially, because I feel like Bishu is too much to deal with, and they get too much poke before they actually force Bishu down, making it for an even harder push. Now that Gods has a Dragon Blade, though, maybe it's an opportunity for them to move forward on the payload with Wolf, maybe force the rest of those guys down.
The problem is that, I mean, you have to contest high ground, and you're not going to have the Transcendence to do that. So at this point, what you really want to do is push them off the high ground, force the fight to go to the lower floor, so that you can actually get value out of that Transcendence. You really want to see that happen. But it's all going to come down to the execution. Can they get him off of that high ground, or will Baby Bay and Dogman just slide back? The Dragon Blade comes out, Storm.
Self-destruct does find one there onto Kaiser, who was on the wrong side of the wall. And like you said, the Transcendence is on the low ground, but it's only providing protection for Adam and Surefour. The rest of the team isn't in the area, and this is going to mean Kungarna again holding on to the numbers advantage, especially with Zephyr being demexed here. They've got 1:15 to go. Cloud9 looking very rough here in the early stages of this best of 3. Do they need to make a change at this stage, or do they stick with this composition and hope for the best?
Well, again, I mean, the main thing is that they really need to get these guys off of high ground. They've just been very unsuccessful in getting that to work. I mean, that's really what they need to do. I mean, you go with the ground game, you just go in there and you maybe force them onto the payload because they need to contest. It's so close to that objective, and maybe you win the ground fight. But, I mean, it just doesn't seem like that's going to happen, as, again, without anybody contesting up there, Dogman and Baby Bay left unchecked, you're never going to win that fight. So, yeah, you absolutely need to get them off, and Primal Rage, maybe this is the answer here. Kaiser going up there, looking to knock them off. Doesn't really succeed initially, but he has them backed up into the corner.
But another nano boost comes onto Baby Bay. A late tactical visor should be able to reap a few seconds off of that one. Finds brings one for himself. And again, I love what Bishu has been able to do on this D.Va. It was Kaiser in the back line, and Bishu knocks the rest of those guys back, so they're like 5+ seconds late to that team fight on the high ground here. Now 10 seconds to go. Kaiser coming off of respawn right now. They're going to have to worry about a self-destruct, but Gods has to come up big with the Dragon Blade right here.
Surefour sliding around on the Soldier here, looking for an opportunity to contest this. Maybe get back up into that server room and try to make some plays against Michael, who is just running right at him. Recall comes out from him though, so he doesn't have the opportunity to get very aggressive. He has to be very careful around Surefour, who might be able to just land that Helix onto him, take him down. But he doesn't land it, but he gets a lot of damage out. So Michael forced to pull back, has another opportunity. Baby Bay needs to look for some kills here. It's in overtime. This is it, Storm.
Self-destruct is out there, doesn't get anything, gets a little bit of that distance and a little bit of a regroup, but regardless, sound barrier from Adam, able to keep him alive for the time being. It's just Bishu on the payload. I'm afraid that's a done deal for the first checkpoint. No, Michael comes back around. Baby Bay forced to drop down. This is what they needed. Finally, they are going to go ahead with the Nano Visor, but Baby Bay is dropped. Gods doing his duty, finally capitalizing on Dogman and Baby Bay, and they do secure themselves another 230 to work with, and they're going to have to make it the most of it.
You really don't want to see those ults coming out there. That Nano Visor, just a very bad idea. I mean, you're just running into a Zephyr there on D.Va. I mean, you really don't want to be pulling that out. Most of that's going to get eaten up. Best case scenario, you maybe take 2 kills, but the pressure on you, I mean, you're a soldier. Regardless of the fact that you're nano boosted, you're never going to be able to do that. The sight lanes are going to be denied. You're not going to be able to get perma-healed. It's just not going to go in your favor. It's like a 1% chance that works out. So they're not going to have that ultimate combination, but they're still getting very aggressive regardless.
And that's going to be because of Kaiser with the Primal Rage, allowing for a little bit of space for the rest of his DPS players to move forward, especially Surefour, who's not on that high ground. He's too busy trying to deal with Bishu's defense matrix, who is doing a good job of dispersing him, making sure that Surefour isn't much of a threat. He will be demech though. He's actually forced to use that self-destruct to get the reset, and pretty much buy more time for Michael to get those backline kills onto the supports of Cloud9.
Once again, Kungarna coming out on top in that fight. Kaiser now looking for some support and heals, which should come from Adam so they can get closer to that sound barrier. It is going to take a while, though, before he does get that max HP, so more than likely you will see the Harmony Orb coming out just so that they can get into the next fight, but he's still going to be low, so he has no opportunity now to just contest that high ground. Barrier's going to come down, and that's going to be even more time because they don't want to really just jump in without that barrier because he can get taken out very easily, so expect to wait, a couple more seconds, but Kaiser going to be eliminated!
Oh, good follow-up from Bishu, just being there with Michael. Despite being demexed, he got rid of that threat. Nice pulse bomb, able to connect there. He's going to be forced to get a respawn. And I think this is a good opportunity as Bishu is out of the mech. Maybe put Surefour on the high ground this time with Attack Visor. This should be a team fight that Cloud9 takes. I would be astonished if they don't, given that Bishu's out of the mech.
I mean, the problem is the poke damage coming up from the top of the ship. Every time Kaiser comes in, he just gets completely murdered.
I would have liked to see them go for the high ground there. They're still using that Transcendence on the low ground. It's only hitting him and Adam. I didn't like that from Wolf whatsoever, or the rest of the team, not to try to match what Baby Bay is doing up there. Now he drops down. There's the Nano Visor coming out from them. All ults on the table. 15 seconds to go here. They've got to battle past this Dragon Blade as Gods immediately takes down Baby Blade with one swipe of the blade here. And this should be Cloud9 moving forward, but they're going to have to win at least a couple more team fights to secure another 90 seconds.
Everybody had to have been wondering how Gods just did that. I mean, he was all over the hangar, just all over it, just throwing that blade every which way that he possibly could, and because of that, they were able to secure that fight and push it now in overtime. But here's the thing, Storm, I mean, on that fight, really a lot of this hangar phase worked in Kungarna's favor because of that high ground that they had in check. I mean, the poke damage was just eliminating Kaiser from the equation before the fight even started. Now they don't have that advantage. Michael giving them at least something to work with, but Dogman coming back with a kill on Gods too.
Exactly what they need from Michael. Time after time, he has landed these pulse bombs so consistent. Now only have to deal with Zephyr and Surefour. Zephyr's already out of the mech. That is going to be a GG. Kungarna take an astounding victory here on Watchpoint Gibraltar. Best of 3 semifinal. One map away from moving themselves into the finals here, X. And man, your prediction of Kungarna looking pretty good right now.
Yeah, moving on to Hollywood. That's one of those maps again that it's tough to say because we just haven't seen that much of it from Kungarna. We haven't seen much of anything from Cloud9 either. Both of these rosters, kind of some new additions and everything, but obviously Michael talking making a couple of statements there in chat, but you can see the play of the game. Obviously, this guy does work for sure on the Tracer, really putting the damage in for his team. But really, I mean, Kungarna is just one of those rosters where I think the biggest thing is the fact that they have so many threats, and the fact that one of their supports actually is one of their bigger threats too. Dogman, that's just kind of like that Unko kind of thing with Rogue,
Certainly.
where they have that really, really solid support that is very lethal, and it becomes an issue when teams don't know how to address that. And Kungarna does a good job of keeping Dogman safe. You saw Baby Bay up there with him, and because of the fact that they keep him so safe, he can do whatever he wants, really.
And obviously, Kungarna proving that Watchpoint Gibraltar a pretty strong map for them here. But we don't see a Lijiang Tower in the map pool, something that you might have expected a pick to come out from the side of Cloud9. But we're headed to Hollywood for the second map. Nepal is the third map should it come to that one, Curix. But heading to Hollywood now. What does Cloud9 need to change up? Do you want to see something from them different in terms of composition from their DPS maybe? Because I feel like Gods did a pretty solid job on the Genji. They just couldn't find a way to deal with that high ground advantage from Baby Bay and Dogman there.
This is a similar situation to what we saw from Yikes. And really, I mean, Kungarna does a great job of shutting down tanks. That's really what it comes down to. I mean, yeah, they are in the face of the supports, but you'll see it every play of the game that you see with Kungarna is more often than not going to be Michael. And you can see in those plays of the game, it's tanks first, supports second, and then wherever the DPS fall, they fall. If they have a successful fight, that's how they want to work it. Because really, I mean, it's just coming down to the fact that Cloud9, Kaiser, again, looking back to that hangar phase, every time he walked in, he would come through the doorway and he'd instantly be chunked down to 200 HP from the ship, where Baby Bay was just taking shots, Dogman just throwing everything down as well with the Discord.
And I liked what I saw from Bishu. He was there along with Michael. Remember that pull spawn that he was able to get? Bishu followed through with that one. He got demeched in the end, but I really like what I see. I love what I see. I mean, Bishu used to play with Kungarna. He was a staple to this roster back when they were on the rise back in November, before we saw, the public, the great public started to recognize who Kungarna actually was when they made it into that LAN event back at PAX South. So yeah, exactly. So he was a big part of that roster. I love to see him back with these guys, and Kungarna looking like just clearly the better team there on that map. But Cloud9, they're my pick. I'm still sticking with them. I think they can turn this around. I think we can see some better play from Kaiser and the rest of the guys here as we move to Hollywood. Just waiting on the OKs from both of these teams. But are you thinking this is going to head to a third map, or are you thinking a 2-0 again for Kungarna?
I'm actually going to say a 2-0, and I feel actually kind of confident about that. And the reason being is because I've just been seeing too many trends here. I mean, Cloud9 struggling to contest Kungarna on the high ground. Even when they do get him off, they're still having troubles. Obviously Gods and Surefour are doing a good job. I mean, collectively Cloud9 is doing a good job. It's just Kungarna is just ripping apart their front line, and it's tough to deal with that. Now the problem is once you get into that second phase of the map, we've already seen it done today. Teams can have a lot of trouble contesting that high ground, and when they do, they fall apart. So if that same thing happens in the hangar phase, that what we saw, and then projected now onto Hollywood here in the streets phase, we could very well see the exact same situation occur where Kungarna pushes forward and then Cloud9 gets stuck in the street phase.
We saw that same thing, like you had just mentioned, with Yikes up against Renegades. They couldn't get a grip on the Widowmaker on the high ground in particular, so that could be an issue moving forward. We are set to go on Hollywood, guys. It will be Cloud9 making the attack first. We'll see if this is going to be a quick one or if we're going to be heading to a Game 3 on Nepal. Of course, there is a consolation match, as that does place the top 3 in this $5,000 prize pool here today. So the loser of this game will still have an opportunity to place third if they happen to lose, I guess you could say. But of course, neither of these teams want to do that. They want to be moving on into the finals to take on the winner between Selfless and Renegades, which will follow directly after this match has concluded here. But on the defense, to get things started, I can't imagine we're going to see anything different from the side of Kungarna. It looks like Dogman wants to get started with that Zenyatta. I applaud this one. Expect Kaiser to be in that backline on Cafe, and expect Dogman to get a little bit of support with that Discord orb on him the entire time.
Interesting that they're actually pulling this out on their defensive side. Typically, you would see Dogman on an Ana in this case, but, obviously with the fact that he can stay kind of insulated back here on the second floor of Cafe and then pushing down, I mean, if they can find a way to keep him safe, then this is a good pick. That's exactly why Baby Bay became such a threat alongside Michael with dealing with Kaiser. Just those Discord orbs coming out and then just dumping every bit of burst damage you have into that Winston. But here's the problem. I mean, God's on the Genji right now, diving in with Zephyr and Kaiser. Rolf going to have a little bit of some Discord play his own, and Surefour coming out in the Tracer. I mean, you're looking at a very, very heavy dive. 4 people probably going to be getting aggressive. Definitely look for them to just dive into that Cafe and try to take Dogman out early. If he falls into that first floor, Surefour should be there waiting for him.
Well, We do see Sure4 looping all the way around the backside here, looking for something, but he will be met by Michael. Michael making sure he does provide some support to Dogman here as Bishu trying to guard the Gatorade up top here. And I mean, the rest of Kungarna kind of dispersed here, looking for the first move to come out from Sure4, who's looping around the bend here. We'll see what they can make of this one. Is they might be able to capitalize on this, especially with Remix in the area.
All Sure4 has to do is get in position at this point. He has to get under Cafe, basically just kind of get onto that health pack and just secure it for his team. So when they do get in there, he can steal that up. They don't have any way to get any extra health to Dogman, and they can secure that kill. They actually do have the pulse bomb coming out. Almost takes out Remix, and he does find that kill. Roful already found one on Michael as well. 2
down for the side of Kungarna. This is what they were looking for on Gibraltar. Weren't quite able to get this one. They take care of business on Bishu, and this is the Cloud9 I was expecting, at least in the first game here, but they really show up on Holly with the first point, the first objective here. Not be able to follow through with another kill. Yeah, Baby Bay running for his life. Remix in the area as well. They should be able to follow through with these. They have the numbers, they have the pressure, but no, looks like Remix does get to safety.
The problem here is if Sure4 gets a little bit more poke, he's going to be in dangerous territory for having yet another pulse bomb. Michael, of course, holding on to the first one that he's gotten. I mean, really kind of that last fight was certainly cemented by that pulse bomb onto Remix, who just fell shortly after.
Pulse bomb ready to go, though. Michael trying to get into the back line to do just that, but now we're going to see the rest of Kungarna's gods coming out here with a Dragon Blade. Transcendence, though, should be able to keep him alive through that one. Pulse bomb, though, able to find a kill on the Kaiser. Sound Barrier's out as well here. It's 435 still yet to work with, even if Cloud9 lose this one. But it looks like they should be able to press this. I mean, Remix is in a rough spot. Does have a little bit of help from Michael, but the numbers are clearly here for Cloud9. They clean this one up and they move forward.
They really need to find a way to either get onto that high ground and play their game and get away from Sure4, or find a way to deal with Sure4 some other way. I really like the way that they did it before, where you just play that high ground, force gods to be really kind of the answer on that Genji. They have 3 ways to get up there. It's certainly going to be tough to get up there and stay up there with the fact that Zephyr, Kaiser, and gods are just so strong on that that contest group. But Sure4 is just one-clipping people in the back line, and they don't have an answer for it, and they need to find something out.
Not the best tactical visor from Baby Bay. He was on the low ground already trying to deal with Kaiser, who had the Primal Rage, but it looked like Kaiser took quite a bit of damage. Self-destruct is out. Doesn't get anything, unfortunately, from the Zephyr here, but it does create a little bit of space. But still, Kungarna, they're looking pretty healthy right now here. They've got most of their guys here. Baby Bay running from Kaiser, but Kaiser still pretty healthy at this point. And I think this should be Kungarna finally pushing them back, especially with that Pulse Bomb coming through with the kill from Michael.
And Bishu going to be taken down pretty low, but that's a self-destruct actually coming out, and he might be able to find a kill. He does indeed onto Zephyr as Michael finishes off Rolf, and that's going to be Kungarna with that space created by the self-destruct pushing forward now, and they will be able to make that stop. 3:15 on the clock, just under that actually, as they do now finally get up onto that high ground as Baby Bay going up the elevator. And we will see them up top. Now the question is can Dogman get up there? And he does indeed. So this is a good position for Kungarna to be in. We'll have to see if Cloud9 can push them off, or if they're going to be stopped dead in their tracks like they did in the hangar phase of the last map.
This is what Yikes had an issue with. This is where Renegades were able to stop this one. And Pulse Bomb just a little short there from Sure4, as it looks like Rolf and Adam trying to get onto the high ground to give a little bit of support to Gods. So this is something I like from C9. They're trying to match this time around. Gods coming out with the Dragon Blade, but no, it's going to be Transcendence from Dogman again, trying to keep them alive, and he does just that. Perfect timing from this guy, time after time here. It's 2:30 to go, and this is starting to look like Kungarna might be able to muster a hold here before the second checkpoint.
I really think that was a big slip-up, though. I mean, Dogman had to panic his Transcendence out, but Pooks actually did pop the Sound Barrier. So I mean, that was both support ults out. I really think Pook should have held on to his, because Dogman was obviously going to be the main target. I mean, it had to be either or at that point.
Just miscommunication.
Exactly, and it really just came down to panic and some miscommunication. So now they're not going to have either's options. They already aren't on the high ground. Gods is just coming through again, and that's both support ults now for C9, because they can just stomp right through Kungarna. They will have another time or another opportunity to fight, though, before this objective is cleared out.
I would have liked to see them continue on that high ground and make Cloud9 come to them for the forced fight. Man, a late kill on the Michael, like you said, still have time to get a regroup here, but even so, it was pretty unfortunate that they had to use both of those support ultimates for that previous engagement here. But moving into this one, they have everyone but those two Heroics. So this is another opportunity for Kungarna to stop them short in their tracks. 90 seconds left on the clock as Remix makes a jump. Adam in a rough spot. He is going to be able to get away from that one, but still, they've got a decent position, but Baby Bay going down early.
Yeah, and we will see Kaiser in the back at the moment, or sorry, Remix in the back. He's going to be taken out as Surefour does have that pulse bomb, maybe looking for an opportunity to throw that one out. Who's going to be the target? But it looks like Cloud9 actually kind of backing up. Zephyr's the only one there, and Cloud9 indeed will back up as Dogman now sitting at about 80%. Are they going to try to go for that high ground again, or are they just going to stay back in this back corner? We saw that as well. But again, Kaiser, Zephyr, and Gods could jump in there. Gods with the blade definitely has to make Dogman a little bit nervous.
Yeah, but Dogman's about 17% off right now. It would be so great if he was able to pick up a little bit of a kill, some added poke damage here. They're going to have to be very careful. They need to take care of business with Surefour. Surefour is a big worry for me, and it looks like Michael's trying to keep tabs on him and make sure he's not the one hit by that pulse bomb now as they look to make a move into this one. Dragon Blade after ready, like you said, Baby Bay can't afford to get picked off early this time. Pulse bomb's out there, doesn't find a kill.
Well, nobody's going to be able to pick him off. Not that early. He does get pressed after the attack visor comes out, and they pull everything out. I mean, C9 going for everything. This is really the last opportunity. Kaiser does find Baby Bay, so the attack visor accomplishes nothing as Dogman pulled out the Transcendence. That didn't get really anything done either. They're just stuck in this back corner in the jail, and Dogman should get eliminated. C9 actually just pushing this forward.
They've got the numbers. It's just Remix Bishu's out of the mech here, and that will be Cloud9 securing yet another checkpoint here. Baby Bay gonna go look for a little bit of poke here. Michael's still out here, drops a pulse bomb, gets a kill onto Adam, but unfortunately his efforts are, they're gonna try, no, Baby Bay just gonna be taken down, so they're just gonna try to get a regroup with the rest of the team, and Dogman gonna be one of those guys that's gonna be a late spawn. Still, only an additional 90 seconds here, and around this last bend, that's not a whole lot of time to work with if you're Cloud9.
They do have Adam ready to go, and Rolf's coming up pretty quick, so both support ults. I mean, they really kind of stampeded through Kungarna last time they had both of those. Granted, you really don't want to use both of those at the same time unless you really kind of have to, and I don't think in that situation that they did.
And there's a sound barrier coming out from both sides here as Rolf will have Transcendence up, like you said, if he needs it. But at this point, you want to save that for a final fight. Even if Cloud9 take this one, still plenty of time for Kungarna to get a full regroup. And that's what Kungarna's trying to do right now. They're trying to make sure that they can push this into overtime for one final engagement. Self-destruct out there, kind of forced out from Zephyr. Doesn't find anything, but still, it's Kungarna buying more time off of that clock.
And Michael... it looks like he might get dealt with here, and Surefour is all over him at the moment. He forces the recall out. Michael really kind of going to be the last opportunity here. Bishu going to be dying off pretty easily as well as C9 pushing forward, but this is it. I mean, overtime is going to start ticking before that next fight or around the same time as that next fight. So really, I mean, Baby Bay with the attack visor, can he do more than what we saw at the end of the last checkpoint in the streets phase, or is he going to get denied? Same thing with Dogman. These are the same exact two ults that we saw. Michael getting down pretty low here with the pulse bomb available.
He's looking to drop in at the back here. He's going around. He's going to loop back here, looking for a pulse bomb. Sticks the shield, doesn't get anything.
D-mechs him.
It does D-mech him. You were right on that. Baby Bay, though, is able to pick up a kill just onto the mech here. Not a lot of value from that attack visor, and Dogman a little bit of a late Transcendence, which means Cloud9 have numbers. They've got all of their people here, all 6 of them. Should be a stagger back to the point from Kungarna, but this is looking like Cloud9 should come up successful with the 3rd checkpoint.
There's really nothing that they can do to get onto the point. Remix going to get finished off, but Baby Bay, before actually getting killed, you know, he actually did pull out his attack visor too, which really wouldn't have accomplished much anyways because Zephyr was already on the point. So a little disappointing, I would say, for Kungarna, because they were really kind of poised to take it in the street phase and defend it very early. Granted, I mean, they do get it in overtime, but still, I think Kungarna had a lot of room to really do a lot more with that, but just kind of denied. They did actually do well. I mean, Michael set them up nicely by actually de-meching Zephyr, which would have opened up the possibility for Baby Bay to just basically just run right through them. I mean, Kaiser had already put his barrier down as well. I mean, that was open season for Baby Bay, but then he got taken out, and that was really the fight right there. Dogman not being able to do enough with the Transcendence either. So, you know, Kungarna, again, just kind of falling a little bit short. Granted, they had quite a bit, so...
Cloud9 completing the last 2 checkpoints in overtime here. So if Kungarna can manage to complete it with a minute or more, that would not give Cloud9 another push. But, you know, they'd have to complete it in the first place here. And I think that's the first thing on Kungarna's mind. They had a really solid Gibraltar push, a good hold on defense. What looked to be, I didn't expect Cloud9 to finish the map, given how good of a middle phase of that map Kungarna actually actually had. So props to them for being able to turn it around and push it in their favor with that momentum now. As we do see Gods making a change over to the Roadhog, Surefour on that 76. So a little bit of a change up. Get to see Kaiser on the Reinhardt here for the first time. We'll see if Remix wants to stick with that dive composition with the rest of his team, as we will wait to see what they actually want to pull out. Don't expect a McCree from Baby Bay particularly.
I don't think so either.
I don't think I've really ever seen him play that much.
Well, he's definitely not bad with it. I mean, he's played it a lot, you know, not necessarily with Kungarna or Splice or anything, but he does play a lot in his spare time. So it wouldn't be surprising really to pull it out, but I think in terms of like the team dynamic, what they typically play as a roster, yeah, it's not going to happen. So yeah, you do see him go over to that Soldier 76. Dogman just going to get some early vision on that Hanzo before swapping back over to the Zenyatta, and overall it's a very standard composition from Kungarna. I mean, that's the thing about Kungarna. They don't typically switch their comp around that much. They have that versatility, but really they only swap a couple of things here and there. They don't really do too many really big changes. Sometimes you'll see Baby Bay on a Widow or something like that, but overall it's pretty much the same thing either which way. Remix taking that high ground away there from Wolf, so he's going to get some support as they bring them back towards that cafe here. And will they get a tick? No, not going to be the case. Remix hooked in there, just kind of not expected. Didn't have any follow-up, though. It didn't look like Gods was able to hit him with anything. Still, they do pick up one tick, to say the least, at this point in time, as Bishu tries to knock him back a little bit, yet to really pull the trigger. They're looking for that hook, but no, it's Bishu saving Dogman's life with the defense matrix. We saw that from him countless times yesterday in their matches. Oh, Surefour getting chased now by Remix on the Winston. He does see the Ana. I mean, Surefour just led him right into Rolf, and Rolf now going to get pressed, but C9 does have the advantage in terms of numbers, but Poog's going to equalize that. And now it's just back and forth yet again, as God's very low at the moment, but he does get supported, and Remix should be backed off here, should be killed off by Zephyr, and that will be that. C9 make the hold, but just barely, man. Yeah, Bishu wasn't able to really get a whole lot done in that last fight. Ooh, they pop a nano boost on the Kaiser, immediately taken down. They use a sound barrier as well. Kind of remember, 2 points were ticked there for the side of Kungarna. Already a slower pace for them, but still, a couple of ultimates I don't really think were necessary there from Rolf and Adam. And now Remix coming back. It does have the Primal Rage. They already have the Transcendence as well, so a lot of options, while also a lot of options stolen away from C9 there. I mean, Kaiser gonna have to do a lot here with this. Oh, what a hammer down. He hits both Pooks and Baby Bay, and there's Gods following through with a nice whole hog to secure this fight for themselves, as they do get a late couple of kills. Kaiser was dropped by Michael in the back, but I don't think it's really gonna amount to too much. I think the rest of Kungarna are forced to back off. 2 minutes to go. And still, you know, Cloud9 looking pretty solid on the defense here. They have that Transcendence here. Need to make sure that they stay very careful. Zephyr could always just put the self-destruct in there just to kind of clear the point. Obviously, the Transcendence isn't gonna be able to save from a one-shot. But Pooks now has a sound barrier as well. They could use both if they absolutely have to, but really kind of want to save at least one for that next fight so they can kind of create a little bit of a tempo for themselves, some momentum to work off of, and that's the sound barrier coming out first there, Storm. That was a good sound barrier from Pooks. It was able to save Remix, who was hit with a bio grenade, but he's going to be taken down regardless. Surefour with the pulse bomb. Dogman not in the vicinity of him to be able to help him out there with that Transcendence, and that will surely be Cloud9 regardless. They lost quite a few guys there. 1 health. Can they get away from this one? Michael trying to deal with them, and regardless, what looked to be a solid start for Cloud9, they do have reinforcements coming back, as Gods was taken down early on. Another pulse bomb on the Gods. He's taken down. Baby Bay unleashes the visor, and it should finally be Kungarna coming through with this first checkpoint. Just a couple more seconds on it without anyone from Cloud9. Really solid first point hold from C9, though. I mean, they pulled out a lot of time. Now we'll have to see if Kungarna can, you know, do what the high ground they did, you know, on their defensive side, at least for that one particular fight. They really didn't do as much with it as I thought they should have. Now we will see Baby Bay going up there alongside Dogman, Bishu there to protect them just in case things get a little hairy. But looks like we will see Baby Bay going across. They are going to go ahead and throw Gods and Zephyr off of that saloon there. But looking at it right now, I mean, Dogman not too close actually to his ult. Zephyr going to try to contest, and really this is going to look exactly like that hangar phase where they're just taking pot shots yet again on the high ground. They are certainly able to do that. Baby Bay is being contested though by Zephyr at this point, and it looks like it should be kills for Cloud9, buying themselves more time. Only 235 to work with if you are Kungarna, which is just a lot less time than what Cloud9 have
originally, but such a good hold originally from Kungarna in the middle stage of the map that maybe this is an opportunity for them to push forward and maybe not finish in overtime here. But you got to wonder, what can Kungarna turn around or change around here to try to deal with these guys, specifically Surefour, who's just kind of running rampant all over them.
Yeah, I mean, you have to have someone on the payload. That's the problem. You absolutely have to have someone there. Do you put the Lucio there and then, oh, Kaiser came through, nice Earth Shatter, but got eliminated right after. Self-destruct coming down.
Is it enough to get anything done, though? There's a Dragon Blade coming out for Gods, immediately falls through 3 kills for himself. Gods in the back line cannot be stopped by Dogman, Baby or Bishu. That was easy pickups. Again, sub 2 minutes now as reinforcements come out here for Cloud9 here, X.
But the 3 ults that they look to for pushing that objective, and they've basically had to rely on, actually, are getting ever closer. Dogman now does have that Transcendence. Pook's coming ever closer to getting that sound barrier up, and Baby with that Tac Visor. I mean, those were the 3 ults that really kind of made all the difference for them to get that first objective, to be able to shut Gods down finally, and the ever-elusive Surefour as well. I mean, that's what's been such a problem, is that it's just hard to kill those DPS. They're just so hard to take down.
Gods in particular has just been so difficult to actually get a hold of there. Wolf actually with the Transcendence I don't believe was entirely necessary at that point, but the fact of the matter is that Dogman was actually taken out as that fight started. He had Transcendence ready to go, but now they're going to try to press this advantage with the numbers here as Pooks actually drops a sound barrier, and Baby trying to punch out some of the damage. They will get a little bit of distance, but we're a minute left to go here. A single hold could be do or die now for Kungarna.
Oh, Transcendence coming out very early, actually, from the side of Kungarna, and Baby it does find that pick onto Gods. That definitely gives them an opening as the DMAC happens as well. So a lot of space created here for Kungarna. Kaiser coming over, trying to make a play over onto Dogman, but he does remain safe. And look at that, a nice team wipe coming out from Kungarna as they're pushing forward. Not a lot of time, so looking a lot like the C9 push, but still, I mean, again, this is the fight that C9 really needs to win if they want to keep their tournament hopes alive.
Well, they will be able to finish this one unless Kaiser gets there in time, or excuse me, Zephyr is the one that gets there. They will contest here with all of them. Pulse Bomb doesn't find anything, maybe gets a little damage onto Gods, who is taken down regardless. This is what Kungarna needed. They will be able to secure this one with a few more kills. Adam's still in the area, Kaiser as well. Kaiser pops the Primal Rage. Not sure if that was necessary. I feel like he could have held on to that one for the next fight, because at that point in time, I think Kungarna had that in the bag here.
Well, they were just kind of hoping for the best and seeing if they could actually contest that long enough to get reinforcements, maybe a healer like Roll for something involved. But, I mean, especially given the fact that he did have Transcendence pretty close. He's sitting at 92% right now. Maybe find a pick from someone like Gods.
Oh, Kaiser, okay. Kaiser wanted to make the change over to the Reinhardt. That's what it was. Okay. I had wondered if that had maybe been the mindset moving forward. But honestly, I think I like that down the final stretch here.
So he's going to go ahead and make that swap, so you have a little bit less of those worries going into dealing with Baby or something. But if he does get that high ground, then obviously that will turn the shield and create some other lines for pressure. And again, Baby just using those sight lines to his advantage up on that high ground right now, as Surefour actually does deal with Pooks.
Force out a Transcendence as well from Wolf. Only 40 seconds to go, though, so we'll have to see what he's able to make of it. Dragon Blade out for Gods. What can he get? Finds one in the bag for himself, but there's too much pressure. No, he gets another there on the remix as well here, and only with 30 seconds to go. They will have a few ultimates moving into this fight. 4 are ready to go. Dogman needs that Transcendence down this final push. 20 seconds. The best they can hope for is to finish in overtime.
And you have to think about going back over to the defensive side. If Baby and Dogman hadn't used that Nano Visor, could they have made the stop earlier? Would this game look different? Could have Kungarna just stopped them early on? But look at this. They're going to make the play anyways. They find those kills. God's very low on top of the point here.
And Rolf is under a lot of pressure. And you got to remember, still plenty of time for Cloud9 to get a full regroup. They want to die at the same time, exactly what they did. Thankfully for Kungarna, though, they do it. Dogman was not forced to use Transcendence. He's not going to have to really worry about a whole lot other than Surefour with that Pulse Bomb. Gods making a last-second change over to the Roadhog.
But here's Remix with that Primal Rage. They instigate the fight. Zephyr actually find the kill onto Pooks.
Exactly what they needed to get this one underway. Transcendence is out from Dogman. Is it enough, as it looks like Remix trying to dock him off the point? No, it's going to be Michael killing himself with the Pulse Bomb, but still, he grabs one onto Kaiser. Kaiser had a charge there onto Remix. Sound Barrier, the last hope here for Adam. Is it enough to get the job done? There are only 2 people here. Bishu's out of the mech. Remix is here, and it looks like Pook should be able to make it back in time, but the respawns are aplenty here for the side of Cloud9, who might be able to move this to Nepal.
Yeah, it doesn't look like Pook's going to be able to live. And overtime ticking down. They finally do contest it again, but that's going to be it as Michael dies off. And somehow, someway, Cloud9 are the victors of Hollywood, moving this to a game number 3. And again, I want to bring it up how much one ult decision, how one thing can impact the game so hugely. I mean, think about it. If they hadn't have nano-visored on their defensive side, BabyBay and Dogman holding on to that combination, they could have gotten the high ground on the defensive side, maybe made a play, and stopped them in that at the beginning of that third stage of the map. And then they would have been the victors there. But they let it go through. They had a little bit of a misplay when Michael actually did get the D-Mech on the D.Va there. And still, BabyBay unable to actually get that tac visor out and find some value as he got picked very early on. So it's crazy how those things can actually impact an entire series. But, you know, those 2 plays alone basically gave way for C9 to take that map.
Rolf with that 55% kill participation there, showing what he can do with the Zenyatta as well here. So now we're heading to a third and final map in this best of 3 semifinals. Who's going to be moving on into the finals? It's going to be on Nepal, so no tiebreaker going to be available for this map, obviously, as we head to Control Point. And what are you thinking? I mean, I expect you to stick with your Kungarna pick, but Cloud9 doing a decent job of pulling it back in their favor on defense, despite kind of a rough middle phase of that map, allowing that second checkpoint, which I don't know if that should have been allowed on their end.
Well, Cloud9 had a weird series of events occur yesterday against Good Round, you know, going from Nepal over to Lejong. So I'm not sure how, Cloud9 feels about that. Obviously, it went a little bit back and forth. They did wind up winning that map, but it still was kind of, again, back and forth against Good Round. And I really think that Kungarna is a much stronger team that I would be kind of afraid of. But
yeah, I mean, I'm just looking forward to seeing what Cloud9 is going to be able to do here on Nepal. I mean, we saw a lot of King of the Hill from this team yesterday, which they performed fairly well on. I do believe they lost a good round on, was it Lijiang Tower, I believe it was?
Yep.
Yeah, it was on Lijiang Tower. It was a close one regardless, but now we're headed to Nepal, which is the map they actually took,
yep,
which was the pick of Good Round. So I'm curious to see what's going to happen here. That's a good sign that they were able to win that map yesterday. And going up against Kungarna, this is do or die. Kungarna would go to the loser of this would go to the consolation match, the winner into the finals to take on the winner between Selfless and Renegades as we wait to get this one underway. But in particular, Kungarna, I mean, what are you looking for? Are you looking for Dogman to be able to shut down Zephyr? Because I think that's Kaiser. That's the big thing for me, that Dogman is a pivotal part, if he plays that Zenyatta, to shutting down Kaiser, which I think opens up a big window for the DPS players of Kungarna to finally move in.
Well, I think it becomes 2 matchups, actually, when you think about it, because it's going to be Dogman versus Kaiser, who goes down first, because more than likely Michael's going to be trying to press Kaiser as often as possible to try to eliminate that threat so that Dogman has that separation. Now, the other one that I think is very important is actually kind of BabyBay versus Surefour when that becomes relevant, because a big thing that worked out for Cloud9 yesterday was actually the Fair and Mercy. So is BabyBay, along with Dogman, are they going to want to go for that Zenyatta Soldier combo to actually contest that Fair in this guy, or are they going to want to ignore it if it does come out, or is Cloud9 even going to bring it out? I mean, that's the big question there. But those are the 2 matchups that I think I'm looking at the most. Dogman versus the separation that he needs to get away from Kaiser. Is Michael going to be able to do the job there? He's been pretty good about it in the past, dealing with XQC, but Kaiser, I think, in my opinion at least, is on a kind of different level than XQC at this point, so it's going to be rough.
Do you think that's the big thing? And because comparing it to how well Kungarna did against Yikes and then now up against Cloud9 today, I mean, obviously a lot of these guys from Cloud9, I mean, compared to Yikes, there are a lot of them same level, some of them a little bit higher level. Do you think Kaiser and Zephyr in particular are 2 of those big reasons that Kungarna are struggling a little bit more here?
Well, not just that, but on top of that, you have to think about what Gods and Surefour bring to the table too, because Surefour certainly has been rough to deal with. I mean, Michael has had to get in several duels with him that has kind of pulled him away from being able to just deal with Kaiser, just deal with Zephyr, and that's something that we saw with Yikes. He didn't really have that problem. He could just barrel down on them with the Discords up, and that's why it looked a lot easier for Kungarna against Yikes. Now, the other thing is that Gods on this Genji has been tearing it up this tournament. I mean, not just today, but even yesterday too. It's a big reason why they went 3-0. So, I mean, Gods even on the Roadhog as well has been a huge problem too. So obviously there's a lot of threats with Cloud9, whereas with Yikes they kind of lessened the value of ZZA a little bit and certainly toned down the impact that XQC had. So again, I just think that Cloud9 is a little bit more dynamic. They're a little bit more fleshed out as a roster, and I think they have, because of that reason, a little bit more of an opportunity to take this against Kungarna than Yikes.
And speaking of Gods on that Genji, running rampant throughout most of Gibraltar despite losing that map and even some of Hollywood when we saw it from him there. If he happens to play that on Nepal, how do you even deal with that if you're Kungarna, given you've said they've got a lot of flexibility, but they seem to be pretty set in stone with what they're running and still haven't been able to really find an answer for him in particular?
Well, the thing about Kungarna is, yeah, they have a lot of flexibility, but they don't like going away from like what is kind of their staple. Baby Bay sticking with Soldier a lot of the time. For the most part, he's kind of just like their aimer, kind of like a Defran type role where you just try to find as much room for him to work with as possible, and that's basically their goal. And then on top of that, they also have that kind of Unko-style support play with Dogman. So essentially, it comes down to them to be able to deal with everything, and if there's any threat that comes to those two, it comes down to Michael being able to deal with that threat to be able to eliminate it before they get eliminated. So really, I think in terms of anything that Cloud9 can bring to the table, that's how they deal with it every single time. That's the way that they adapt. They might make a couple of swaps in terms of the compositions, the heroes that they bring to the table, but more often than not, that's how their composition works. That's how they play. That's how they structure the way that they address a situation.
Well, we are finally ready to go. It's going to be the third map on Nepal in this best-of-3 semifinal. Winner has an opportunity to take on Selfless or Renegades up next, or actually it won't be up next. That matchup will be following this one, of course, the other semifinal. But we're going to be heading to Nepal here. See who's moving on here, and those last couple of maps pretty close here. But I'm curious to see what Gods wants to go with here. Probably going to see a Roadhog, given what point we're headed to here first.
So it looks like that is going to be Sanctum as the first map. Certainly expect C9 to be going with the triple tank composition. Right now, Surefour is going to be on a Reaper. I'm not sure if he's going to be sticking with that. I'd be more after thinking that he's going to be actually going over to the Soldier 76 more than likely. But this is the map actually that we saw him pulling out that McCree on. Obviously, Dorado was the one where he had the biggest impact with the McCree, but that is something that he did pull out on this map here in Nepal. I think it was actually Shrine that he wound up pulling it out at the beginning to try to deal with that Pharah. But we'll have to see what he decides to go with. Other than that, though, triple tank composition coming out for C9 and a dive actually coming out here for Kungarna, as that's really the composition that they like, going with the 2-2-2 with Remix and Bishu on the Winston and D.Va respectively.
Interested to see how Bishu and Remix deal with Kaiser now, who's on that Reinhardt, who's shown a little bit of flexibility going back and forth between that and the Winston. Throughout Hollywood in particular, saw him make that change at the end of their defense, which actually panned out pretty well for them. And of course, making that hold by all means here. But we'll see what they're able to make of that, see if they can find any additional pressure, being able to move forward with that shield, unlike Remix with his stationary shield. So he's actually going to drop that on the point here and see if they can have the positional advantage. Adam on the point, but look how out of position right now it's going to be Zephyr. He's actually in the back here, maybe not too far out of position. He's back up this one, and Kungarna, just like that, they take control of the point yards.
Well, the thing is they're also not that healthy quite yet. Remix is down to about half HP, but there's no threat to actually take him out now that Gods has been eliminated. Surefour is pretty low, so he's not going to be able to take that head on. And Kungarna do indeed back C9 off of this point, despite the fact that C9 running the more, I guess, traditional Sanctum-style composition with that triple tank. You would often see a Zarya involved in this composition, but they're opting instead to, switch things up a little bit. But that dive certainly working for Kungarna, as they basically kind of just slow pushed them, allowed Michael to create an opening for them.
Just good positioning all in all there, being on the point, not allowing Kaiser to really find an opportunity to move through. Now that Remix has a Primal Rage, he might pop this and then just push him all out of this one. That's exactly what he's going for. They were in the corner, looking to do something. Tackvisors out there from Surefour. No, Remix jumped off the map. Oh, that's unfortunate. Adam got a little bit of a boot there, but he wasn't able to jump back onto that one. Still, the Tackvisor from Surefour doesn't get too much accomplished, but regardless here, they do get the point flip.
Man, and that Transcendence just wasn't that great, to be quite honest. I mean, everybody was separated. Nobody was really getting the major benefit there. I mean, Baby Bay was kind of saved, but he wasn't really that much in danger. I mean, someone was coming around that backside, but he would have been able to deal with them with the tack visor up. So, I mean, it just didn't work out in their favor at all. Transcendence now going to be down, and Cloud9 with a huge opportunity here to kind of...
Ooh. Shatter comes out there. Do they get anything off this? No, Kaiser is actually the one to fall. Regardless, though, they still maintain control of the point. 47% is up here for the side of Kungarna. Nice sound barrier from Pooks, actually affects almost everyone. Remix not a part of that mix. I think he was at a lower level, but regardless here, they're going to be finding the kills for themselves. Will they need to use this pulse bomb from Michael to finish things off? More than likely, since Kaiser's back in the mix. Here comes Gods around the corner, though, with the whole hog.
And the whole hog might give them enough. I mean, Remix is pretty low here, but he will get dropped as Remix jumps in alongside Baby Bay, finding that kill, and somehow Remix saves himself, almost falls into the pit there, but the jump cooldown actually just came back up. Baby Bay does get slept, but Rolf now going to get pressed by this. Winston puts the barrier down, should be able to find that kill.
They're still holding on to the point the entire time, though. Remix pops the Primal Rage. 63% now. It's all been Surefour running around here trying to deal with Michael. They've just kind of been at it for the most part, as it looks like Cloud9 are back in this. They take a kill to Remix, and they still maintain control. 25% to go now. That's down to one final fight.
Really, really great stuff from Adam, too, to just be able to live versus Remix for so long so he can't actually address the other issues on the point. Really good wall riding to make sure that that actually happened. Now Dogman looking for another opportunity to actually get that Transcendence and really kind of do a lot more with it. Michael with a nice opening pick, but does indeed get actually taken out.
It did hit the top of the shield. Kaiser just taking a little bit too much from that one. Tackvisor from the side, though. Baby Bay not really feeling much of a threat for anybody. He's kind of wide out in the open here. Still, that they go ahead and use the nano boost on the Gods to try to find something. Overtime ticking down here. Do they make it back into the point in time? They do. Kaiser back in the mix as well, but Kungarna, they've got all their guys here looking pretty healthy.
And Kaiser's going to be backed off. Kungarna using almost everything there, pretty much everything but the self-destruct to be able to secure that. Now Kaiser with the Discord is going to jump forward, and he is actually going to be eliminated there. And they're going to have to wait for him to get back up. And depending on how this next fight goes, this could very well be the last real kind of concerted effort here for C9. As we're hitting that 70% mark. We'll have to see how long this fight takes, though. Remix right now with the Primal Rage. A lot of options actually for C9, though.
Pooks and Adam both on the same page with their sound barriers, so could be of utmost importance for this final engagement that we're going to be having here. I mean, this is everything for this first round now, as we see Remix trying to disperse him a little bit. There's that's going to be Bishu coming out with the self-destruct. They don't find anything, but Surefour doesn't get a chance to use his pulse bomb. He's taken down. Remix is pushing them all off the point here. Adam forced to use that sound barrier to actually come back into the fight, but the Shatter's out there. Kaiser picks up a kill there on the Pooks, and this is their chance to turn this around. They get both supports down from the side of Kungarna.
And Gods actually with a nice hook onto Remix. There's no one here to heal this Winston, so I'm not sure if they're going to do it. The pulse bomb comes out, and he finds the kill on Adam. Gods is still low. Zephyr is still low, but they're finding the kills regardless. And C9, with their tanks at such low HP, look to secure this objective. It's still in favor of Kungarna, but that will be the flip. Overtime ticking down. We'll have to see if Dogman can slide in and maybe contest, but that's not going to be the case. And Cloud9 steal this one away here on Sanctum.
So close, man. So close. That was hysterical. Kaiser just happens to charge, and I think he blinked like right into that charge. Or Bishu was just went right into that one. Unfortunately, I felt like that fight was pretty much lost when those two were the last ones remaining regardless. But now is the chance to maybe change something up as we head to Village. Maybe some Fire Mercy. More than likely not. It looks like both teams want to stick with their guns here. As 199, can't get really any closer than that, but given that, Yurix, this definitely has potential to go all 5 rounds.
I think Village actually kind of favors Kungarna a little bit more with the comp that they typically like to run and the way that they like to play. If they can actually win this first point, I think that they're going to be very, very strong holding it out against C9, and it's going to be rough for them to try to contest that. But if C9 win this, then I don't know. I mean, I hope Kungarna doesn't want to change things up, because I think what they have right here should work on this map. We'll have to see what happens, how they want to play this one out. C9 going to the point. I like the way that they're addressing this. You certainly don't want to go high ground against them.
Something we really haven't been able to see from Michael is getting into the backline and providing some threat onto Rolf. It feels like he's pretty well protected by Gods, and actually Surefour is picking up that kill on him to get things underway, and probably not a good opportunity for them to move in, especially with them losing the point. They might as well just back off this one, make sure they don't get picked off late, and look for another re-engagement quickly.
Wolf now, I mean, he's completely insulated. I mean, they're just with these 3 tanks just pushing forward, taking their picks, taking their time with it as well. And really, I mean, Bishu and Remix haven't been able to do all that much with it. Michael looking to come back around here with this Tracer and try to make some plays, but Surefour is going to be there to just lay into him. He's going to pull them back to the site, but Surefour probably just going to tell his teammates, you know, to just leave me at this because I forced his recall out and I don't need that much help. Rolf actually does manage to help Surefour out, and they find that opening pick onto Michael.
And they just dropped down as a collective unit there, giving up the high ground, but picking up a kill onto Michael found him in a pretty vulnerable position at that point. And again, Michael is the first to drop, and that's what I said at the start of this one. He really hasn't been able to find a whole lot of damage into that backline, and because of it, he's been the first to drop. 50% already put up on the board here for Cloud9.
And Remix going to be looking for an opportunity to jump right to the back. He actually gets pushed up. God's looking for a hook to try to just secure this kill, and he will be able to find that more than likely, but Remix somehow gets away, and now Surefour finding the kills yet again. They need an answer for this guy as Kaiser, the second just bastion of death. Oh, man.
He was relentless in that fight. He got the nano boost. He found an easy kill there onto Dogman, and that just kind of forced Baby Bay out of that because he had the nano boost. So this is a final fight now for Kungarna. They need something to turn this around, and it's really going to be tough for them because Pooks and Dogman don't have those support ultimates ready to go. Neither does Adam, but even so, they don't maintain control of the point. If you are Kungarna, Pulse Bomb's out there. Surefour doesn't find anything there, but still, this is it.
And now Baby Bay going with that attack visor is going to be pretty much shut down, actually, by that defense matrix. Zephyr just going to run at him. The health pack's available, so he will be able to take this fight, de-meching Zephyr and actually making him pull out that self-destruct just to keep his mech in play.
I thought there was a real good shot for Kungarna to start. Oh, nice Earth Shatter comes out there from Kaiser. He hits two, he kills two, but I thought that was a good chance for the side of Kungarna to get something going, but Remix had a Primal Rage at the start of that one here because he was put to sleep by Rolf himself, and that's a 2-0 lead on Nepal. C9 are 1 round away from moving into our finals.
Gods is just too much of a threat for them alongside Kaiser and Surefour. I mean, these are the three names we say almost every single map, it seems, but really kind of in the composition, that's what makes the most sense. God's shutting down Remix so that he can't really do anything. I mean, every time Remix tries to go for the supports, he's backed up. He can't be that threat that he needs to be on that Winston. Now you're seeing some swaps happening with Rolf, Kaiser, and Gods making changes. You're going to be seeing this in Yada, Winston, and Genji respectively there as Surefour and Zephyr sticking onto that Tracer and that D.Va. I mean, obviously Adam's going to be sticking to that Lucio as well, but no changes from Kungarna at all. Just got slaughtered on that last map. Now moving on to Shrine here. Need to really kind of adjust the way that they're going to attack this, but luckily for them, they don't have to deal with Gods on the Roadhog, so Remix is going to have a lot more to work with here as he's not going to just be instantly shut down. He will be able to deal with Gods, actually, so maybe this will give them at least a little bit more to work with here on this map.
Well, they don't have to worry about the Roadhog, but they do have to worry about his Genji, so that is going to be another threat in and of itself here. But like you said, you didn't want to see any changes, even if Kungarna lost that from their perspective, because I think what'd you say? You felt like this composition is still one of their best and still can work out for them well. If they can find these picks, if Michael can get something done, and right away they apply that pressure with Dogman in particular onto Kaiser and find that opening pick and secure the first points.
Yeah, and I like the fact that Kungarna is able to deal with this now and just quickly adapt. I'm confused as to why C9 wanted to go with this, actually. I mean, really, that last composition that they had was working for them if they can fight on level ground, and that's going to be the case almost every single time on this map. So you have to wonder, you know, in a situation where Gods can easily deal with Remix, he can easily just get in the face, maybe shut down Michael as well, kind of take that away. You know, why do you make that switch? Maybe it's the fact that Michael could be able to, you know, find those kills himself, and you want to have the Genji just to take the quick picks on the Dogman who's going to be on the point alongside Surefour. Maybe that's the case, but obviously a lot of questions here.
Well, already, Surefour dies to his own pulse bomb there. Wasn't able to get out of that one, but, you know, this point is already one of the hardest to take back after you lose him because of that high ground advantage automatically in the favor of the people who hold on to it. But Transcendence is out for both sides. Surefour trying to make it back to the point in time, but not a lot of damage coming through those Transcendences as these teams try to duke it out once again. 50% already on the board here for Kungarna as this fight starts to progress.
Oh man, Michael does finish off Gods, but now things are in favor of C9. We'll have to see if they can actually get on here and actually find some more kills. Baby Bay being supported here by Bishu, and that's going to be the self-destruct coming out from both of the Divas. The one on point, though, is from Bishu, and they both find kills onto DPS.
Baby Bay thought he had cover there from the statue, but wasn't actually out of sight of that self-destruct, so he got taken down. God's probably hoping that he doesn't need to unsheath the blade. He will not, as they will be able to take control here. 79% put up for Kungarna, meaning that's actually pretty good for Cloud9. The fact they got it before it hit 99, so if they do lose it again, they have an opportunity to regroup. But I just don't see them losing it at this point with what they have coming up in store in terms of ultimates.
They do have a lot of options indeed, and looking forward, Baby Bay again really kind of needs that Tac Visor to have a tide-turning impact like we've seen from them before. Kaiser now kind of just throwing his body in there actually is going to be able to find that kill on Dogman. They're going to easily find this, but Pooks did actually throw the sound barrier. You have to wonder if that was maybe the best idea given the fact that C9 just had so many options here, but they're going to go ahead and get in there anyways. They do demech Zephyr, and that's the Tac Visor coming out from Baby Bay.
Can they get anything done with it is my question right now. He doesn't have the greatest line of sight. He's all the way in the back trying to deal with Kaiser there with the Primal Rage. He didn't really find anything there, and it looks like C9 will retain control. They've got still a lot of guys here. 5 people in the mix, lost a guy for themselves, but regardless, very strong hold there from C9.
Really, really strong hold, and the thing that's most important is the fact that they held on to it the entire time while also pulling a lot of very important ults away from Kungarna. Again, they really kind of rely on those first 3 ults to really do a lot with it. So far, I mean, Michael has not had the same kind of performance, I think, that he's had versus a lot of these other teams. Surefour has been getting him into these isolated duels. Zephyr has been trying to shut him down a little bit. And really, I mean, he's just not had that same impact. But there he goes with an opening pick onto Adam. That's certainly what they need to get things started. God's going to be under pressure. They already found 2 kills here, Storm.
No one was really there to protect Adam. He was just kind of skating around in the back on the steps, and that was easy for Michael to maneuver his way around and find that easy kill with the pulse bomb. Now, they will hit 90+%. Let's see how much they can get onto the board here. It will be about 94, 95%. Still Kungarna. 20 seconds to go for Cloud9. They're going to have to pull this back into favor. Otherwise, we're headed to a round number 4. And thankfully, they have Dogman with the Transcendence. There's a lot to work with, though, if you are Cloud9. So Dogman has to be on point with this.
Really, you want Pooks to get a lot more poke here because he has to answer back against Gods with that Dragon Blade if it comes out. The Pulse Bomb does come out, and they find the kill on Baby Bay.
That's a terrific start, and it's Pooks taken down. It was Zephyr self-destruct, finding that. Now Gods coming around. Dragon Blade looking for Dogman. Dogman taken down. Already used that Transcendence. He was trying to help his team through the Pulse Bomb. Wasn't going to happen here. Cloud9 are reeling in the kills. That's going to be Bishu taken out of the mech, and it looks like Baby Bay and Pooks are back to the point. Is it enough? Pulse Bomb from Michael doesn't stick here. Cloud9 have Kungarna on their back foot, up 2-0, pushing it into overtime. Need to take care of Pooks, need to take care of Michael. He's trying to drop the beat. Pooks does, only hits him, unfortunately, and still it's going to be Remix trying to funnel back into this one.
Oh, man, Michael in a very tough position right now, forced to recall out. Now he's not going to be able to deal with Surefour at all. Surefour should be able to find that kill. Kaiser comes over to help as well. Dogman on the point, and he's looking to try to contest this, and it doesn't look like they're going to be able to do it. They're just battling to get everybody off. Remix is the last one here, Storm.
They have a Tac Visor from Baby Bay. Can he be the saving grace at this point? They still have Pooks back into this one. He picks up one onto Adam. Baby Bay taken down, self-destruct. Does he get anything? Zephyr just getting a reset for the time being. Michael coming through. They don't have any ults to work with. Bishu is out of the mech here. They are trying their hardest. It's been quite the funnel from Kungarna, but that's Michael taken down. The overtime counter ticks down here, and that's Cloud9 taking a 3-0 on Nepal. 2-1 series overall and moving themselves into the finals in this Rumble.
Oh man, Adam in the chat. I haven't seen, I've never seen Adam talk like that before, but nonetheless, nonetheless, that's going to be Cloud9 taking it on Nepal. That's, yeah, again, another 3-0 for them. And yesterday we saw a story of 199s against Good Round, but looks like it's going to be a pretty similar story here against Kungarna, and Kungarna now going home. They talked a lot yesterday and on Twitter and everything like that.
Well, they have a chance.
How they're back, but
they've got a chance in the consolation. They will be moving on into that third place match to take on the loser between Renegades and Selfless, which, speaking of which, is going to be our next match. Any initial thoughts on that?
Oh, that's going to be a tough one because Renegades is playing so well. We'll have to see how they deal with the typical Selfless issues when you do fight a team like that. But obviously, Selfless is becoming increasingly, more tolerable. You can start dealing with it. Teams have been starting to take maps off. Teams have actually been starting to beat them. They've been held back before. We've been seeing Selfless actually kind of, get to this stage of a tournament and just kind of shut down. And is it this step of the tournament? Are they going to be taking that third, fourth, or are they going to be at least able to move to the finals?
Well, they did lose a map to LG Evil. They won that one 2-1 regardless. Guys, we're going to head to a break. When we're back, we're going to have Renegades up against LG Evil Renegades up against Selfless in our semifinal match. Stick with us.